Hey guys, what is up? This is Max Davis, me once again. Welcome back to another video game review. This time it is going to be on SplitFiction. This game came out earlier in the beginning of March, but I never got around to finishing it, mainly just due to the fact that this is a two-player cooperative game from the makers of It Takes Two, which was widely praised by everybody. It even won Game of the Year at the 2021 Game of the Year Awards. I never got around to playing it because I didn't really have another player until 3 years later, where I finally got around to playing it. And after playing it, I regret not playing it sooner. So because of how successful that game was, of course, they had to make a successor to that. In this game, you and a friend play as two female authors named Mio and Zoe, and you two get transported to a simulation of your own creations, your own stories, one being sci-fi and one being fantasy, and you both have to work together in order to escape the simulation run by this man. And you have to solve puzzles, you have to platform your way through victory, and of course you have to fight your way through various combat situations. And I really loved It Takes Two, so knowing the fact that the company Hazelight would be making a successor to that, yeah, it would make sense. Because It Takes Two was about working together. You cannot play that game solo, so the fact that they would make something similar to that, also having you and a friend play together, it was a very unique experience. The fact that you had to play with somebody, and I really think that's very encouraging to bring another player with you, because usually I am the one to play solo, but I did not care how long it took. I had to get another person with me. I don't really have that many friends in real life, but I did have one. The reason why it took me so long to beat the game was just the fact that he was way more busy than I was. That's why I didn't get around to fully finishing the game, but I did not care how long it took. I wanted to review the game, and I'm talking about it right now, and I am so happy that I was finally able to finish it, because what an experience this was. You and a friend are going to have an absolute blast with this one if you absolutely loved It Takes Two. I feel like It Takes Two is definitely more of a game for couples, because, you know, the fact that that was a game involving a couple going through divorce or supposedly going to get a divorce, while this one is focusing a lot more on, you know, the friendship between Mio and Zoe, how they originally didn't know each other, but their bond grows as they work together. And there are often times throughout the game where you and a partner are probably going to get a little bit frustrated. We certainly did a few times, but there wasn't a part of the game where we just got so mad at each other that we just wanted to turn the game off, because the game was such a unique experience. It looks absolutely gorgeous from its fantasy setting to its sci-fi setting. Both worlds look absolutely stellar. And the game surprisingly has a good amount of emotion to it, which is something I kind of was expecting, and it really hits hard. And of course, it's not afraid to show off some humor once in a while, because, yeah, it's something that I feel like we all needed from a game like this, because, man, there are times where this game can get absolutely mad. Like, there are often times where there are some side stories that you can partake in, mostly optional. There was one in particular that I thought was just completely unhinged, and it involved playing as pigs. One of them shits rainbows, and then by the end of the level, both of you get killed and turned into hot dogs, and you have to dress yourself in condiments, and then you get eaten. Like, oh man, is this like a dark version of a Peppa Pig episode or what? I absolutely loved it. I absolutely loved what I was seeing on screen. This is because later down the line, it does definitely get far more deeper. And there are often times throughout the game that I feel like it kind of improves upon It Takes Two. And don't get me wrong, I loved It Takes Two, but one of the things about that game that I felt was kind of underwhelming was the boss fights. And there wasn't really a final boss to that game, but there is one in here. And the bosses are very unique. Like, when it comes to the gameplay, it always changes up, allowing you to solve puzzles in various different ways. Each of you have various different abilities that you gain later on throughout the game, and eventually during the end of each stage, you have to fight a boss with those abilities. And they all feel very unique. There wasn't a time where, we got so frustrated where we had to look something up, as the game kind of tends to be very obvious on what exactly you have to do. And that's something that I really appreciate, as it's not really the type of game where you have to explore an open world, as it's very linear. You go from one area to the next and it always tells you exactly where you need to go. I mean, you have to figure that out yourself, but it's pretty obvious where you have to go from one area to another. Now, the gameplay itself, it relies heavily on platforming and puzzle solving, and they just tend to get very creative when it comes to the puzzles. Like, one player has one ability, one has another, and when it comes to the puzzles, they can be a little bit tricky at first, but not tricky in a way that it gets way too frustrating. It just kind of feels a little bit irritating once in a while. Now, when it comes to playing online, one of the best things about this game is being able to play online. And when it comes to adding another player with you when you do play online, the other player does not need to buy the game. Instead, there is this thing that they have called Friend Pass, where your friend can download like a version of that game where you have to get invited in order to play the game, which I think is very unique. All you do is boot the game up, invite that player in, as long as they have the Friend Pass, and then immediately they join the game with you. No requirements of having 2 copies of the game, which for something like EA, which are known for greed, it's nice to know the fact that they are not getting greedy with this game. It takes roughly around 14 hours to beat, depending on getting past the puzzles that you might get frustrated on, like we were a few times. And it's all for $50 too, which I think is a very reasonable price. Enjoy while you can. It's probably going to be one of the very last times we're going to get a new game at a very reasonable price. So it's nice to know that anybody can pick up and play it. Now, when it comes to playing, I'm not sure if it's just online or cooperatively, but there are often times where there are some glitches where the other player is like delaying moves in terms of like staying still and then automatically just zooming in from another area. Like, there are often times where we kind of got frustrated with that during this one specific scene involving a centipede where we had to climb on like some Ferris wheel looking thing, and there's like fire and we keep getting burned to death for absolutely no reason. I feel like that's something that I feel like should have been patched out a couple months ago, but hasn't really. But really though, there really wasn't a whole lot for me to complain about. When your game never feels repetitive and always manages to get very creative when it goes from the sci-fi setting to the fantasy setting, because it changes worlds oftentimes throughout the game, which I feel like is very, very engaging. And the fact that it relies heavily on a story that I thought was very engaging. It focuses on Mio's story to Zoe's story, both of which I think are great lead roles. So it does a really great job of having you connect with these characters, laughing with them, and sometimes even tearing up with them, because there are often times where it does tend to get emotional, and its heart manages to be in the right place. And by the end of it, while I was satisfied that we were able to finish the game, it was also kind of sad too, because we were just having a blast with the game, and it's clear that Hazelight is definitely going to be known for their cooperative games, and I can definitely say that they are masters. In the end, guys, me and my friend had an absolutely great time with SplitFiction. It brings players together with wanting to work together, and the fact that it worked with It Takes Two, it definitely works here. There are often times where I feel like it even improves upon that. Like, there are some really cool Easter eggs here and there. Like, there's this hidden area with a bonfire from Dark Souls, which I thought was pretty cool. And there's even another reference to It Takes Two, which is something that I obviously expected. But yeah, the puzzle solving, spot on. The platforming, a lot of fun. And it gets very creative with the combat sessions, and I just had myself a great time. We both did. If you have another friend with you and you're looking for a great cooperative experience, definitely get this game. I also definitely recommend It Takes Two. Like I said before, it's more on the lines of being a couples type of game, but hey, I played it with a friend and we also had a blast with it. Hazelight is definitely going to be known to be a great developer, which they already are. I mean, 2 great games already. I cannot wait to see what they do next. Other than the occasional glitches that we did have when it comes to cooperative online play, there really wasn't a whole lot for me to complain about. We were both loving our time, and before I end the video, when I went to go pick the game up at Target, there was actually a couple buying the game as well. Like, just before I bought the game, a couple was getting ring up for this game, and then I told them I immediately wanted SplitFiction as well. And we were both getting physical copies, so knowing the fact that there are still people that do care, it still gives me hope. Like, yeah, but anyways, I absolutely love this game, and I highly recommend checking it out. I'm glad that I finally got that game finished up, because I'm currently playing Clair Obscura Expedition 33. The hype for that game is real, and it's just, I am absolutely loving it, and I definitely want to review the game for you guys. So yeah, I look forward to that. I might be almost finished with it. I'm not entirely sure, but when I do, I definitely want to review it. I am absolutely loving it so far. That may spoil my opinion, but hey, everybody's loving it so far, and I am too. Yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and maybe subscribe for more. You can also check me out on Twitter or Instagram or maybe Blue Sky. Links are in the description. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Word out.